Hi. So this is awkward, but this is the best way I can think of to disseminate the information to as many people as possible. So this is in regard to PECS. So the first thing I want to say is that PECS is a very specific protocol. The picture exchange communication system, there's like 8 phases or something like that. You have to run them very specifically or it's not going to be as effective. So people will often use pictures for communication and call it PECS, but it's actually just picture communication. There's a difference. So for PECS specifically, when we're first starting out, you would start out with one picture and the first phase is just teaching them to pick up, reach the picture to who they're talking to, and release the picture into their hands. Now, ideally, you would want to have 2 people for this. You'd have the listener and then you'd have the prompter, because then the prompter can guide the student to do that process and it becomes like a motor memory thing versus like we're initiating a conversation by saying like, oh, come to your, PECS book, get your picture, whatever. But when that doesn't happen, what we can do is have the picture ready, have it like right next to them, whatever it is that they're engaging with. And then if we're like taking a turn or if it's like an action and they want up or tickles or whatever, then we have that picture right next to them. We provide that prompt to pick up, reach, and release the picture. When they release it to us, we're going to say the name of the item because we're basically repeating after them. So they've given us a picture, we're repeating the word after them. That gives them the opportunity to hear it said, but also confirming, I hear that you're talking to me. Because sometimes if PECS isn't used according to the protocol, the students might think that it's a task related thing versus like a communication thing. Okay. So phase 1, and you can have it on the book. You don't have to have it on the book, but you can have it on the book to make it easier to, keep the pictures, but you'll have it like right next to them. They're not going to travel at this point and then they're going to reach to you or give some sort of signal that this is the thing that they want. That's how you know that you're going to then go in and provide a prompt. Because if we aren't 100% sure, we don't want to accidentally make them say that they want something that they don't actually want, because the reinforcer for requesting is the item itself, not our praise. So they have signaled that they want the wagon or something like that. I'm going to go in with a prompt to pick up, reach, release, wagon. Okay, let's go. And then we go in the wagon. And then we can stop after a couple of steps, put this back on, have it right next to them. Now, the thing with PECS is that this is going to sound very mentalistic, but you're going to feel out if they're kind of reaching for the next step independently. And if they are, you're going to allow them to be independent, but we don't want them to error. So if they're seeming unsure, we're going to go right in with that prompt, pick up, reach, release, okay, until it starts to become fluent. And with one picture, they pick up, reach, release every single time. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that they need to be asking the person who is in control of the item. So if we're talking about something like, let's say if we get a mirror, little handheld mirror, and this person has the mirror, if they come and bring me the card, it's like they come up to me and say, hey, can I have the mirror? And I'm like, I don't have a mirror. Like, what are you talking about? Right. So we want to make sure that they are going to the right person with the picture. Okay. That's all about phase 1, is just constantly having that single picture on the front, pick up, reach, release, pick up, reach, release, pick up, reach, release. And I'll add in like a task analysis for those 3 steps so that we can keep an eye and see how independent it's going. Because once we get to a point that we are requesting independently using the pick up, reach, release, we go into phase 2. Now, phase 2 is distance and persistence. So at this point, we're going to increase how far away the book is. So in step 1, we have this right next to them. In step 2, we're going to throw it maybe like arm's length over there so that they have to turn and reach for it, pick up the item or the picture, give it to us. And then we're like, oh yeah, good job. And then we're going to have it across the room and they're going to have to go to the book, get the picture, and walk all the way back to the listener and give them the picture. This is to help them build the understanding that you can't just throw words out into the world. You actually have to go to a person and communicate with them what it is that you want. And then once they're independently doing the same thing, going across the room, you would move the person that they're like communicating with. So making sure that they do have to like go, because if the person, if I think I kind of messed it up, but yes, essentially you're just moving the book around and then they have to go to that and then they go to the listener to give the picture. And then in phase 3, that's when we increase the array that's on the front. So we would start with a preferred item and then a neutral item, which currently there's no neutral items in here, but let's say it's like a piece of paper, because it's going to encourage them to look at the pictures to see the difference between the two. And they're more likely to grab the one that they actually want versus like a piece of paper, unless of course paper is reinforcing for that particular person. But like if somebody gave me a piece of paper, I would just be like, where are you giving this to me for? I don't want it. And so when they are continuing to respond independently with a preferred item and a neutral item, then we would increase to having 2 preferred items. And as we're doing it, we're going to move the pictures in between each request so that they have to scan the entire book and they are not just picking from one spot. Okay. And then once we're doing that consistently, we're going to add 3 pictures and ultimately we'll get to 5. And the reason why the number is 5 is because if we have pictures in each one of these corners, and then let's say we were to have one in the middle, they have to scan left and right, up and down. I think I did that backwards, and then diagonally. And so once we get to 5 pictures, we would move on to sentences and stuff like that. But for now, phase 1 picture of the item that they want, pick up, reach, release. Pick up, reach, release. That's the focus. Let me know if you have any questions.